Hey there, it's Mike. Thanks for coming back to my channel and checking out this video. And today is going to be a little bit of a venting video. I want to share a disappointing story, disappointing situation that I had happen to me recently. Get your feedback, get your thoughts and ideas and your comments that you can leave below. And I guess to start this story off, I was offered a solo exhibit at an art gallery of my street photography in early January, and they asked me if I would be interested, and obviously I jumped all over that opportunity and said I would definitely do that. The show would start at the end of January and run through the end of March, so I would be given 2 months. They have a wall in the gallery. It's a gallery I've been to a couple times. I've done a couple events there. They have a wall that they would display the stuff, and they actually run 2 exhibits. They run a larger exhibit and then a smaller one. I would be the smaller exhibit, and then they would have a reception for both the exhibits sort of in mid-February. And so I said absolutely. You know, I have some frames I have to swap out. I have to make a couple prints and enlargements. I have to make a big enlargement, have it framed at our local frame shop. I said I could get that done before the show starts. So getting things together, jotting down some questions I have, organizing stuff. About a week after that, I emailed the director, and this was a new director at the gallery, and had a bunch of questions. You know, when do you need my stuff there? Here's what I'm thinking for the number of shots I would have. Would be they said they would give me room enough for about 9 to 12 images, and I had about 11 picked. So I emailed a bunch of questions. When was the reception? Just so I could let people know and get the word out on social media. So I peppered her with about 4 or 5 different questions. And she emailed back a few hours later, answered all the questions, said, you know, looking forward to it, et cetera, et cetera. Probably a couple hours after that email, I got another email from her. And then about 30 minutes after that one, I got another email. And the second one said, did you check my last email? That's the one I read first, and when I read that one, I thought, oh, this probably isn't good. So I went back and read the email that she had sent a half an hour before the last email, and it basically was, I am so sorry, I apologize, I had no idea, but she was just made aware of a policy that the gallery has had for a very long time, that they do not allow photography exhibits. So that was kind of a gut punch. And so all the work I'd been doing, all, you know, the excitement I had about having a solo exhibit, what this could mean for me, my photography, all went down the tubes. And so it was tough. And at first I was steaming. I was pretty mad, and I did not even want to email back that night. I just, you know, I typed up something and I sort of sat on it, and I just didn't want to send anything. I didn't want to send anything out of anger and sort of, you know, let her have it, because she was very apologetic and said, I had no idea. This has been the policy for a long time, but it was hard. And so, you know, to me, it felt like the gallery's attitude was, we don't consider photography art. We'll have paintings and drawings and sculptures and all sorts of other things, but as far as photography goes, we're not going to display it. And so that was tough, because it felt like a turd in the face of kind of all photographers, not just me, but all photographers everywhere, that, you know, we just don't consider it art. And so it was difficult. So I sent an email the next morning, and I just wrote, you know, firmly, but not angry, but just, you know, explaining, I'm incredibly disappointed that this is the policy of the gallery, but I do understand the gallery has the right to have whatever policy they want, and you know, and I understand that. I said the thing that confuses me is that I have done a couple small business Saturday events at this gallery, and that's where they allow artists to come in. They pay an entry fee, and you're allowed to display and sell your art during that day. I've done that a couple times. And I said, you know, it's confusing that the gallery would take my money for that and allow me to display and sell art, but that same photography isn't allowed to be displayed in an exhibit. And I said, I can't in good conscience moving forward ever do the Small Business Saturday event again. I hope you can understand that. And I just said, you know, I hope the gallery will change its policy someday. If it does, please let me know. You know, I'd love to have my stuff exhibited there. She sent an email back. I totally understand. I'm very sorry. I hope our paths cross again. I thought your stuff would have been a great addition to the gallery. Blah 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 blah. So it was tough. It was, and as time has gone on, it's gotten way easier. But something happened interesting a couple weeks after that. I went to the place where I have my stuff professionally matted and framed. If I have something that I think is really really good, I'll have this guy do it down on our main street here on College Ave, and I told him about it, and he said, I think I know why. I think I know why they don't allow photography in there. And he said, the way they make their money is they sell art supplies, and they sell paint and paintbrushes and easels and print racks and all this stuff, but what they don't sell are cameras. They don't sell photography equipment. And he said, if they sold cameras, you'd have your exhibit there. And it made sense. I get it. I understand that point to a certain extent, but at the same point, the art gallery should be in supporting the arts in the community in general. And you have no idea, just because you have a photography exhibit up, you don't know who that photography exhibit is going to draw in. I mean, the guy who's inspired me the most, Saul Leiter, was a painter first. He painted throughout his entire life. He was a painter and a photographer. So you can't X off and not support photography as art in the community just because you don't sell camera equipment, just because you only sell paintbrushes and easels and whatever. And so I'm not going to let them off the hook for that. It may be part of the reason, but it was still difficult. It was still disappointing to hear whatever the reason is, that's the gallery's policy. So it is what it is. I didn't want to write this in the email, but you have massive art galleries all over the world. I know New York, I'm in Wisconsin, Milwaukee has a great art galleries all over the world that seem to have no problem with photography exhibits. You hear about them, quite often. And so those galleries don't have a problem, but here this one locally will not exhibit, 10 to 12 of my street photography images, even though the art director loves my stuff and thought it would have been a great addition. And so it was just really disappointing, and it's just something that it is what it is. So I'm kind of curious to know your thoughts and your ideas. Leave me some comments below. Like, have you ever encountered that yourself? Do you know of any art galleries that just say, no, we don't consider photography art, or it's not good enough, it's not really art, and so we're not going to allow it? Let me know if you've run across that. Let me know in your community or communities, wherever you are, how do they view photography? Do you know of any galleries that also do not let photography in? Was my situation, what do you think of my situation? What do you think of the art gallery? And their reason or reasons behind, not having photography exhibited. So it was just, it's one of those things that's a learning lesson. And I've always kind of seen photography as, I think the art world kind of views it as the ugly stepchild of the art world. Yeah, we'll tolerate it. It's okay, but is it really art? I think that there's a lot of that attitude out there. And you just, as photographers, we kind of have to deal with it and educate people the best we can. And I don't want to get into photography as, is it art, in this video. Like, that's a whole nother topic I would love to address and probably will down the road. But just wanted to share that and just kind of vent and just kind of say, boy, I was really disappointed. I was really hoping, this would be something really neat for my art and for my street photography, and kind of give street photography some cred as well, give it some credibility. So leave me some comments below. Check out my links, check out my website and my books and all that other good stuff. Hope you have a great day. Keep hitting the streets, taking photos. We'll talk to you soon with another video. Thanks. Bye-bye.